Welcome back to the News from the Real World podcast. I'm Quinn.
And Tetra.
I'm Eleanor.
And this segment we're starting off with what I think was actually the best article this week. It's a student pick. Finally, student pick, not just fluff pick.
Oh, cutting.
This is from Salon.com, and it's by Faris Jabbar. It's entitled, "You Need More Downtime Than You Think."
Mm-hmm.
Did this strike any chords with you, ladies?
Yes,
Definitely.
Yeah, you getting the downtime that you need?
I'm very much attempting to make the downtime that I need, which is hard within the structures of Carnegie Mellon and grad school.
Yeah. You know, the article starts off talking about this freelance writer named Michael Taft, who I guess was in kind of a transition in his life, had sold a home, put all his stuff in storage, and actually took off 3 months and went on a meditation retreat somewhere in Massachusetts, kind of in this kind of wooded area, and basically shut out all the noise for 3 months and all the kind of restorative powers that gave his brain, literally, his brain kind of restored itself, and you shut out the noise. I mean, there's been tons of studies done as to how vital sleep is and downtime is.
Yeah. I mean, a few years ago, like, I went to India for 3 months and did, like, nothing. I didn't work. I was just traveling for 3 months, and I didn't go to a yoga retreat or meditation retreat for like 3 months, but I did go for like a week. But basically the entire time that I was in India, it was this. It was the time to like absorb, self-reflect, have downtime, and it was at that point that I was like, I want to go to grad school, and I like made that decision, and then it was like the next year and a half working towards that. But I don't know if I had not taken that time out from my life to like really reflect that, you know, I would have had that kind of revelation. Really.
Completely.
So I'm behind this. 100%.
Me too.
Mine was
Do
like
you take naps?
Yes.
I wish I took more naps. It was a cool thing. They've done this study, this article talks about, where they studied 24 college students and gave them specific nights of the week where they would only get 5 hours of sleep. And then the next day they would bring them in a lab and have them take either 5, 10, 15, 20, or 30-minute naps, and then give them a series of tasks to perform and kind of judge how well they could do these kind of mental tasks. And what they found was that the 20, 30-minute nap, it took you too long to kind of come out of the haze of sleep. The 5-minute nap was worthless, but the 10-minute nap was restorative, and you could immediately start functioning.
But this is my thing, how do you get the 10 minutes? I can't just sit down and fall asleep for 10 minutes. It takes me like half an hour to go to sleep.
But I find even like that just kind of in between wake and sleep.
Sometimes,
it's
not like completely fall asleep. It's something like you just shut yourself down a little bit, and then like not complete asleep, but like it's just rest, and then like lose everything.
Yeah.
Because you're like so tired the whole day. Maybe like 10 minutes, not like sleep.
Let's all try it.
Yeah.
Wait, I tried it.
On the
I tried it already.
podcast. We will not do it actually on the podcast.
But yeah.
Well, Anna Azizi Rosati says, after being a student at CMU School of Drama, I can say I definitely agree with this article, because we are always so as in caps, busy. I've begun to really value the moment I have alone and quiet. And I make an effort to eat a few meals alone and sit outside anytime the sun is out, just to let my brain relax and wander.
Believe me, like every Carnegie Mellon student will love this article.
And the article actually makes a good point, too, about how that kind of downtime is actually really important, I mean, in terms of the life of an artist, in that it allows you to have your most creative thoughts once you kind of shut out the noise of the world.
Absolutely.
So, get your downtime, CMU drama.
Sit in the sun.
Yeah, get it. Moving
Do
on.
nothing.
Political theater. Our resident political theater maker.
Always.
Always.
I always do the political
Yeah,
theatre.
always. I always do
Anything
the.
about the ladies.
Yeah, I always do the movie crap
Yeah,
and,
Shakespeare.
I do
and
something
power
about-
tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me? Interview.
Yes.
Interviews.
Anything about education interviews.
All
Well,
right,
tell us
this-
about political
Sure.
theater.
This article is called A Litany of Multiple Voices, Notes on Political Theatre, and it's from HowlRound, which is just such a great blog,
Yeah.
by Eleanor Regan, and it's an editor pick. And so Eleanor is a kind of a newly graduated student. She's in London. She's writing a series of articles about the theatre that she's seeing. She's just been at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and she saw a show called The Bloody Great Border Ballad Project, which is kind of a political theatre show reflecting on borders as a kind of general metaphor for whether the Scottish people are going to choose to be independent and to separate from England, which is kind of a hot
Right.
political issue in Scotland
Sure.
at the moment. And that sort of caused her to think more generally about like political theatre and what is political theatre and what is the best way to create theatre that is political. And so in the article she's kind of discussing this show as a model, which is something where the actors are sort of playing themselves, representing really what they think. There's a liveness, there's a rawness to it. It's not necessarily channeled through channeled through a writer and a director and an actor. There's not that separation of the opinion. So I guess she's really comparing this show to maybe like a more political play where maybe this character is sort of left wing and this character is right wing, and they having an argument at the dinner table, but it's clearly part of the play, you know, or part of a narrative. So yeah, what did you guys think about this?
Teacher.
I love this article when I wrote, and I read the I love the last part, and then when it's like it's kind of like put the act. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's just like put the actors on the spot where it's kind of like being themselves, and not like act what they what is do what the director and whoever said told them to do, and they kind of like have their own like opinions about like things and like political thinking. I don't know. I cannot remember that, but I like that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yes.
I thought it was interesting, and interesting way to look at political theater. Personally, I find a lot of political theater to be very didactic and uninteresting.
Yeah.
And I liked what she had to say,
Yeah.
kind of getting away from that.
Yeah, and I think the other sort of interesting point was like, and this is more of like a philosophical argument, but is the best way to make political theatre to do what this show in Scotland that she was talking about, which is to put down like a variety of opinions and
Right.
say
Yes,
that they're all
that's what I
equally
wanted.
valid.
Yes,
exactly.
Or
yes.
is the best way to put down like one opinion and, you know, be very bold with that, challenge the status quo, or to put down an opinion that that you still think is right, but you know most people are kind of going to be in agreement with.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
kind of goes back to what you guys have been talking about with the gun control theatre, like
Oh.
you're just preaching to the choir
Right.
with that
Yes.
one because
Yes.
it's liberal people watching
And
other
that's
liberal
it.
people feel good about being liberal.
Right.
So yeah, there's kind of three options there for how you want to do it.
And I think the conversation is most interesting, not just the
Yeah, the conversation.
this is the right viewpoint
Yeah.
kind of.
Well, I mean, I know for me, like,
Storytelling.
I want to make political theatre, but I have been kind of scared of that for a long time because a lot of the political theatre that I had seen is very didactic and very boring
Sure.
and simplistic and not complex or
Right.
not a conversation, not a
Yeah.
debate. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, it's kind of not related, I guess. Moving on. This is
Things
from
are going to take a dark turn at the end here.
thinkprogress.org, and it's an editor pick by Alyssa Rosenberg entitled "In Defense of Homeland's Pedophile, Dr. Graham, and Portraying Unpleasant Characters." This article presupposes that you find the pedophile unpleasant.
I think it's a fairly safe assumption.
I'd say so too. This article, does anybody watch Homeland, by the way? Does anybody watch it?
It's on my list.
Yeah.
No,
Actually,
well,
I know
that's-
you don't watch Homeland. We don't have Showtime.
I could
we,
watch
we
it.
live together.
There's no other way that I could watch it if we didn't have Showtime.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so no, I don't
You
watch
don't
it.
you don't watch it. I have a friend who's on the show though. Hey Sam, if you're there's no way you're watching this, but hi Sam on Homeland. Yeah, this article. It was interesting. I often talk about this with actors, how when you're playing someone, you know, seemingly unsavory, like they use the example of this pedophile doctor character on Homeland, you still have to make them human in some ways, or almost like empathize, even with the seemingly most vile people, if you're really going to do your job as an actor.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's, you know, there's no point if you're not going to humanize a person in
Yeah.
storytelling, you know?
Mhm.
Even the most vile of us. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's important to make them as a human. Otherwise, it just like
It's just
something
uninteresting.
not
It's
interesting
like-
and boring, and you're just not that.
And it's actually what makes us a character all the scarier. Like you take someone like Ralph Fiennes in Schindler's List.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a total monster, but he's still a human, and he you know, when he gets up out of bed and is like kind of touching his fat belly, and then he
Mhm.
picks up his gun and shoots someone off his porch. You know, it's the little details of, you know, oh, I'm getting fat, you know, that makes him human.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's important for us as humans to not see things in black and white,
Completely.
and people as good and evil, and to see
Right.
the
There's no such
complexities.
thing in this world.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we
Yeah.
need to understand other people, even the
The-
murderers and the criminals and
Yeah.
Yeah.
the people who seemingly do the most awful things in our society.
There's a
But-
human.
But this article, I guess, makes a point that some people feel like, well, why would you even portray a pedophile on a television show? Like they don't deserve a portrayal at all. And I think the moment you start to censorship yourself like that as an artist is kind of the death of art.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and I think why this is good is because pedophilia is like one of the most, you know, like people hate that more than like anything.
And it's
And-
not talked about.
And it's
much.
not talked about, and like we wouldn't say why would you have a murderer on a show, or why would you have like
Right.
a rapist
Mhm.
on a show. Like we know that those are things that we should be talking about and trying to understand. But like people just have this guttural like reaction to pedophilia of like that is, you know, I can't deal with that.
How many child abuse cases go unreported
Well,
in this
Yeah.
country?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, I think obviously this has its place in art.
Yeah.
You know, the most vile of us have a place in art.
Mhm.
Anyway, blah blah blah. So and so writes. We have
Any
from.
comments?
Yeah, there's a few. A lot, actually. Timothy S. says, I found this article really interesting. I have always found the villains of movies oftentimes far more interesting than the hero. I think this is because I always wonder what was it that made them become that way. We have stories like Wicked, both the musical and the book, that turn a story on its head and make you see a well-known narrative from a completely different view. Yeah, there you go.
Interesting example.
Full.
Okay.
Kat Meyendorf, oh, you get a second one today, Kat, says, I'm torn, because obviously depictions of people like pedophiles or murderers are very disturbing, but I think the article makes a good point with the depiction is not endorsement quip at the beginning. It's true that some depictions in the media drift very quickly into stereotypes, and this article brings up a good point that in real life, people are not so clearly defined.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks,
There you
Kat.
have it. Thanks, Kat. Well, that wraps up this week of the News from the Real World podcast. I'm Quinn.
Archie.
I'm Eleanor.
And Aditra.
Join us next week. Have a wonderful weekend, CMU.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh. Why do you have to throw the paper?
It's like Letterman, you know, with the cards.
we're a long way from Midland here.
I'd say so.